10 cheap alternatives to hyped, expensive fragrances. We are living in times like no other times in history, my friends. We have sent men to the moon, and we can now buy very high quality fragrances for crazy cheap prices, thanks to a lot of the Middle Eastern clone brands that now exist. So I'm going to show you 10 of them. Each one of these is very good and very affordable. We're going to get into this list. Before we do, consider asking the like button what is its favorite hyped fragrance, and offer a clone replacement, and give it a click if you like the video. Also, subscribe to the channel. Let's do it. Well, this first one, when it first came out, it took forever for me to find it. It was just, it was hard to find. It would pop up and then sell out. Now it's much more readily available. I'm talking about this one from Lattafa, Cayade Intense. And this fragrance is an alternative to Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. It's kind of in the middle between Gentleman EDP and Gentleman Reserve Privé. I say that because it doesn't have that realistic whiskey note that Reserve Privé has, which leans a little more towards the EDP. But of the other clones I have a Reserve Privé, none of them really capture that whiskey note. So I think it's a good alternative. Both of those fragrances are kind of close together anyway, except for the whiskey note and a little bit of hazelnut sweetness. This one's going to get you pretty close to Reserve Privé, and it smells fantastic. It's definitely got that rich, dark sweetness of the Gentleman fragrances, and very inexpensive as well. Cayade Intense. This one's an alternative to a fragrance that was super hyped when it came out, and it really spawned a phenomenal line of fragrances that's still coming out with new releases today, probably a decade later. I'm talking about Armani Code. This one is Soprano Elite by DUMONT. And this is a very good alternative to the original Code, which was kind of a sweet tonka bean and aromatic fragrance with some lavender. So it's really a good mix of sweetness and some more kind of classy vibes, which makes it an incredibly versatile fragrance and definitely a crowd pleaser. So again, the original Code, still a great fragrance today, and this is a great alternative to the original. One of the ultimate hype monsters of the past year or two had to be La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. This is because it was kind of a return to the strength of the original La Nuit de l'Homme, but there was a little bit of freshness added with some ambroxan. Well, this one by Fragrance World Jack of Clubs is a great alternative to that fragrance, whether you're looking for something that is a stronger take on La Nuit de l'Homme, or again, something that's going to lean towards Bleu Electrique. This is what you need. Even this clone was super hyped when it came out and very hard to get a hold of, but it's pretty much easy to get now. Jack of Clubs by Fragrance World. This next one is a somewhat hyped clone of a fragrance that is hyped because you can't really get it in the US, and I think everyone is curious. I'm talking about Versace Aeros Najim, and this is Lattafa's Cayade Alferson Untamed. Versatile, mass appealing fragrance that smells great. Because it's got some sweeter elements coming from some gourmand notes, like kind of a caramely sweetness, but then it's got quite an aromatic, clean vibe as well. So I think it makes it something you can wear pretty much anytime, anywhere, although on a super hot day, you probably want to look for something else. An alternative to Aeros Najim, this is Cayade Alferson Untamed. The next one, I think one of Jean-Paul Gaultier's best lines is Scandal. There's now, I think, at least 3, maybe even 4 Scandal fragrances, and I think one of the very best is Absolute. It just kind of tweaked the original, added a little bit more sweetness, a little bit kind of a tart sweetness coming from plum, and this is a great alternative from Armaf. This is Checkmate King. This has still got the mix of sweet notes and aromatic notes. The notes in Scandal Absolute are very scant. You've got some chestnut, you've got plum, and you've got sandalwood, but I will tell you, This DNA does the same thing as the original Scandal. It gives you that kind of warm, gourmand, caramely sweetness and mixes it with kind of a fuzzy, aromatic freshness. And so again, Checkmate King, a great alternative to the JPG. This next one, I remember when it came out, it was such a departure from the original Invictus line. I'm talking about Invictus Victory, but I loved it. I actually like Invictus Victory and Elixir more than I like the original Invictus. And this is Maison Alhambra's alternative to the original Victory. This is Victorioso Nero, and they just did a great job of capturing the essence of that fragrance, which is kind of a dark, woody, vanillic, even a little bit incensey fragrance that reminds me of some other things that I have with similar notes. It's definitely something that leans more fall and winter. So again, for I think probably the low $20 range, you can get this as a great replacement to Invictus Victory. All right, this one is an alternative to a Parfums de Marly release, not their newest. I think it's their second to newest. I'm talking about Perseus. This one is from Luciano, their Titan collection. This is Dynasty. And you know, this DNA is a citrus, woody, aromatic fragrance. There's a little bit of a green twist with a bright citrus. It's definitely one of those happy summer fragrances, summer and spring, similar to some things like Terre d'Hermès Eau Givre or even Versace Aeros Energy. So a great inexpensive alternative to that $300+ fragrance. This is Luciano Dynasty. Now, I love plum fragrances, and I've been on a quest the past year or so to get my hands on every good plum fragrance I can, and probably the most hyped plum fragrance possibly is Bond No. 9 Andy Warhol. Well, this is from Dua, and this is called Iconic, and this is a plum bomb, but it is specifically a plum and oud bomb. And whenever I first got it, I really didn't like it. I wasn't expecting this. I don't know why, but something about I believe it's the oud note was just off-putting to me. But I knew if I persisted and continued to wear it anyway, I would probably fall in love with it. And I have fallen in love with this fragrance. Part of it is Dua's fragrances get better and better the longer they sit. This one certainly has. This is a compliment magnet somehow, and it is one that is so strong, you probably are not going to want to wear it until the weather starts to cool off wherever you are. But it is a good alternative to Bond No. 9 Andy Warhol from Dua. This is Iconic. This is another new release. This is from Fragrance World's French Avenue house. This is Vulcan Sable, and it's an alternative to a niche fragrance that I would say the brand has become very hyped, even in the past 6 months or so. I'm talking about Stefan Humbert Lucas, and Sandance is one of the newer releases that this one obviously is meant to emulate. This is a dark, boozy, woody, sweet fragrance with a real textured, kind of dark textured feel. I think it's probably not going to appeal to everyone, you know, with, again, some patchouli for darkness, with some rum, with some coriander spiciness, and some sweetness coming from vanilla and tonka bean, and even some citrus sweetness in the opening. I really like it. Definitely something I'm going to have to wear in the fall and winter, and actually very good quality for the price. This is Vulcan Sable. And our final cheap alternative to hyped expensive fragrances is an alternative to Creed's Silver Mountain Water, one of their most popular, one of their best. This is Armaf Club de Nuit Sillage. And this one is a citrus, aromatic tea fragrance. It is definitely, to me, this one in particular has a little bit of a Middle Eastern twist. It reminds me almost of incense, and I don't necessarily get that from all of the Silver Mountain Water dupes or even from Silver Mountain Water, but it's probably like 80 to 85% similar to the original, and this is a nuclear beast of a fragrance, 12 to 14 hours. If you like that tea note in fragrances, this is kind of the quintessential tea fragrance. It's sometimes described as an inky kind of a smell, and that is accurate. This one's been out for years now, but it's still very good. Club de Nuit Sillage. Let me know down below what would be some of your recommendations for cheap alternatives to hyped fragrances. Give the video a like if you like it, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Justin, this is Sillage Scents.